Okay, so hello and welcome to the training that you have asked for. This is e-commerce sales and lead gen hack that I want to share with you guys that has worked really well for my business and some of the clients that I have implemented this for. What we are going to be doing is taking the leaving mobile traffic and turning them into customers. So the people who have come to your site, they're browsing, they're looking around, and for whatever reason they decide to migrate away or they decide to exit. This tactic is going to show you something that you can do to appeal to them and incentivize them to not only stick around a little bit longer and potentially become a customer, but to give you their email contact information so that you can now focus on the lifetime value of that customer and trying to get as many repeat sales out of them as possible. So this is going to be our step-by-step tutorial on how we got over 1,000 new subscriber leads and $11,624 in recovered sales in about 3 weeks for one of our clients. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, one thing that I really want you guys to understand is I know you're running a Shopify store. The store really feels like the asset because that's where a lot of your time and energy has gone in. You've optimized it. You've added so many things to it and tried to learn so many things to help improve your conversion. But I want to try and help you guys understand that your list is your real cash cow asset. Because anyone who buys from you or even abandoned carts or signs up for your newsletter, you now have that person's contact information that you no longer have to pay Facebook to try and get their attention or spend any more money, and you can continue to communicate with that person as much as you want to try and either convert them into a customer or get repeat business from them. Guys, this is huge. We're talking about back-end sales here. The reason all these big, large companies spend so much money on advertising to push the little guys out of the marketing pool is because once I get that first transaction, it's so much easier to get repeat business out of that person. So if I have to take a loss or take a wash on getting that first transaction, but in that first year I get another 5 transactions out of that person, then I'm still up a profit. So I really want to I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit as we go through this about LTV, which is lifetime value of your customers, and this is the idea that I want you guys to move forward with doing any kind of email marketing, period. So I touched on it already, but email's free. You don't have to pay Facebook or anybody to get back in front of that customer. Once you have their email address, you can communicate with that person in a time, in a fashion that is convenient for them, and you get time to figure out what do they want, how do they want to be spoken to, what appeals to them. You can get feedback from them, and this is all free. This is why email is so powerful. It's one of the largest ROIs that you are going to get in any form of marketing that is active today, and it's been around for over a decade, proving that it's a solid strategy. Email is basically direct mail, but now the online version because the world is moving to online platform. So just to touch on lifetime value again, basically means if let's say you spend $5 to get 10 people to come to your website, one of those people made a purchase and you made, let's say you made $50 off of that initial purchase. Lifetime value is for the lifetime, but let's just imagine we're talking about the first year here that this person is on your email list. If you can get that person to spend another $50 or buy some other product, let's say 5 times in that first year of having them on your email list or after they make that initial purchase. So they make the first purchase and then they make 5 more purchases in that first year. So whatever you spent to acquire that customer or capture that lead, now you've not only made your initial sale of $50, you made 5 more, so that's an extra $250. That's $300 over the course of a year. So let's say it cost you $20 to get that first sale where you sold 50, where you made $50, and let's say whatever it costs you to actually deliver that product and ship it, you didn't make any sales, you didn't make any profit on that. But over the course of that first year, you're able to get another 5 sales out of them. You've made $250. So lifetime value is understanding that first transaction or all of the Facebook ads and things that you're working so hard at getting is not the end of that customer's life cycle for you. And it's really important that you start to implement so that you can get as much value to that customer and get as much repeat business over the life cycle of that customer for you. There's a journey, there's a buying journey that you're going to want to get familiar with so that you can service your customers as best as possible and get them to just become raving fans of your business. So I want you guys to start implementing some of what I'm talking about in your strategies that you put together in your email and other aspects of your marketing campaigns for your store. Okay. Now the true power in this technique is that these people are about to leave. So these are not necessarily people who've already done business with you or are just super motivated to buy. These people were about to leave your site. They're about to bounce, and because of this tactic, you've been able to capture the information for a lot of them, and then almost immediately turn a lot of those sales or just a lot of those leads into sales for people who were just about to not do business with you. That is huge. I really hope you guys are following that, because that is a huge part of this. So those 1,000 extra leads were potentially 1,000 sales that were not going to happen, that we now have the contact information for, and a significant amount of them actually converted for us, which is we made over $11,000 on it. Okay, so what I want to pay you, well, I just kind of want to, I talked about some of the results that we were getting, and I kind of want to run this down for you. You're going to see a lot of blurring and a lot of kind of blocked out stuff over the course of what I'm about to show you guys, just because this is an active campaign that I was running for a client, and I have to protect their privacy. So anything identifiable to them has been blocked out or blurred or anything like that. So over here, you'll see the results that I'm talking about. So this is where the 11 grand came from, and over 1,000 email subscriptions. So we've got about just under 800 overall here, and then 275. So we're just over 1,000 new leads. But so the first email in the sequence brought in 6 grand. Second email in the sequence brought in 1,000, and this one did like just under 200. The last one there. And then I switched up the technique. I changed the ad, and we ran it again. And this one brought in 4 grand. There was more emails in the tweak to sequence, but I didn't really need to show them because most of the conversion was done on the first email, and the other ones hadn't run the full cycle before I started putting this together. The tally of the 11,624 is what these 4 emails made. So I want to jump right in and break this down a little bit further to you guys to get a little bit deeper on what I'm talking about as far as the conversion in this tactic. So this is the first email, the very first one. So I'll go back here. We're taking a look at this email, the one that made the 6 grand, okay? Over here, 740 emails were delivered. We have a 41% open rate. That's about 304 people out of the 700 opened the email. About 109 out of the 304 that opened clicked through the email, and out of those 109, 72 of them made a purchase. I just want to stop for a second there. Those numbers are pretty darn good, guys. So if you have a good incentive going on as far as what you're offering these people to give you their email and then possibly convert to a customer, chances are you're going to do decently with your conversion. But I just wanted you to take that in for a second. In this email, 700 people opted in for whatever we were offering them as the incentive, and then 109 of them click through after 300 of them open the email, and of those 109, 72 of them actually purchased, which generated just over $6,000 for this client. We have a 0.3 unsubscribe and a 0.1 spam. So anything once you're getting into like 1 close to 2% spam or unsubscribe, you want to make some changes or just dead stop that, because you don't want to let those numbers get too high and affect your deliverability for future campaigns. But I just kind of wanted to dive in really quick and kind of show you guys a little bit more of a breakdown of what I'm talking about as far as the power of what we're about to go over. So essentially what we're going to be creating is a mobile pop-up campaign that is only going to show on mobile for anyone who is browsing coming to your site. And what this mobile pop-up is going to do is activate or trigger just before the typical bounce time. So if someone's on your site for a minute, we're going to hit them up at like 52 seconds with this offer before someone would typically decide to leave your website and not do business with you. So step 1 and 2. First of all, you're going to need an account. What the software that we're using is OptinMonster. It is a great software. I'm going to ask that if you decide to use this technique, please use my link. I'm going to earn a little bit of change on that, and just for giving out this information for free, it'd be awesome if you guys could support me a little bit and use my link if you decide to take on this tactic for yourself. So you're going to go to OptinMonster and you're going to create an account. And then you're going to go to the OptinMonster dashboard and click Create Campaign. Step 2 is you're going to select a mobile pop-up because that is what we're making. We're not focusing on desktop right now. Mobile traffic is beginning to seriously overtake desktop. It actually happened already. So we're making a mobile pop-up. Okay, so now that we've discussed what we're creating, let's create it. So I'm going to get you guys to hit the Create Campaign. You're going to go to Mobile Pop-Up. And then you're going to pick a template. But my favorite so far has been Bullseye, is because I get my graphic editor to include the wording in the image, and then all I have to worry about is the name and email field. So I'm going to use Bullseye. So step 3 and 4. Step 3, you're going to name your campaign and then click Start Building. This is just internal stuff, so you can identify it. If you're going to make a bunch of these, put some thought into the name so that you can easily identify what each campaign is targeted to or trying to accomplish. And we're going to name our campaign. We're just going to call this Test Campaign. So step 4, this is going to bring you to the pop-in editing board. This is where you're going to edit and customize your pop-up. So I'm going to get you to start by adding your domain. You're going to go to the left side menu bar and click Setup, and then choose Add New Website. Name it whatever you want. Like, let's say you have a pet name for your website or whatever, or it's abbreviated. You can name it whatever you want. And then you're actually going to add the URL. You're going to add the whole domain, so you're probably going to want to just copy it from the actual link from your website. And then you're going to hit save, and it'll finish that step for you. It self-populates the name here, Test Campaign, and then we're going to add a website. So we're going to name the site, and then we're going to actually put in the URL. And we're going to save it. So you'll see here it preloaded. I'm actually going to leave all of this stuff as the default. We're just going to leave that alone. Okay, so step 5 is where we're going to really begin to edit the visuals of kind of what we're putting together. You can easily edit the text by clicking on it, typing in whatever you want the text to be or the verbiage to be for your ad. Has a decent kind of upload system where you can add your images. I like the Bullseye one because I tried some of the other ones, and having to add the verbiage and stuff kind of changes the format or the size of the ad, and I like to keep it. I don't want to completely overtake people's screens, which is why I like just editing my images to have the verbiage on them, so then the only extra fields are the email and the name fields. So we're going to go back to setup, and we're going to add an image. So we're going to insert our image, and as you can see, the words are already a part of the image design, so there's no need for additional wording, and it's pretty clear what we're asking for, what we're offering them. We're going to have them fill in their name and their email. So we're going to go to opt-in. We're going to enable the name field. I always like to get a name because when we're collecting this information for our email sequences, it is going to show us the information we've asked for, and when you go to create your emails and you use the merge codes like first name, so it's going to generate the customer's first name to place into the email, it has to pull that information from somewhere. So if you're collecting that information as part of the pop-up, it'll make sure that when you insert that merge code into your emails that are going to go out to these customers later on, that it'll actually generate their name for you. So I actually am going to leave it alone after the name field. We don't want to ask for too much because that'll limit the amount of signups that you'll actually get. Yeah, so I think I'm going to change the sign up button color just because. Okay, and we're going to leave everything else as the opt-in. Now the yes no button setting, I'm turning it on so you guys see what it looks like. So this is an option. You can get creative. You can say something like, yes, send me my coupon. No, I want to pay full price. Or, you can get creative with it, but we're actually going to disable this and keep things really simple. So you're also going to want to edit your success message during this process. So after someone has opted in, you are going to want to just kind of greet them, say thank you. However, this is a good chance for you to start that initial process of them getting to know your brand. So if there's a voice to your brand, a specific way you talk to customers, there's like abbreviations that you use or kind of like a catchphrase or something, maybe you want to use it here so that person starts to get inundated with your specific kind of branding. And under the success tab, I really want you guys to remember to turn off the powered by link that is going to say powered by opt-in monster. In the video, I believe I forgot to do this in the example, but I'm telling you guys right now, please make sure you hit that so it takes off the powered by part of the pop-up there. It's just gonna go better for your brand if you don't associate with any kind of third party if you don't have to. That's a big reason that if you're using the domain you pick, instead of having John's Superstore.myshopify.com, it works a little bit better if it's just johnsuperstore.com, right? So at the success fault, you can actually click directly onto the screen, and it's going to allow you to edit what your thank you message is. And depending on your brand, maybe there's a particular voice your brand speaks in that you're going to want to add here. So it's a little bit more personal and unique to your brand. Okay, so step 6, you're going to integrate your mail platform. You're going to click integrations and then add the mail platform. You're going to have to insert your API key so that the emailing software and opt-in monster can speak to each other and pass information. After that, you're going to select the mailing list that you want these contacts to be submitted into. And then in your email software, you can set up how you want the system to respond when someone's actually added to that list. We're going to hit add another integration. It is going to ask you to add an account. So whatever your email provider is, you're going to connect it here. So we're going to use Klaviyo. Now our Klaviyo is actually already set up. I'm just going to set this up. So whatever email provider you're using, when you're setting this up for the first time, you're going to have to go over to your email provider and get your API key. If you don't know what the API key is, it's basically a code that connects your email provider, in this case, to a third-party software of some kind and lets them communicate together. I'm not going to go through how to find or connect your API because there's so many different email providers. You can kind of Google that if you're not quite sure where it is for your particular one, but you would insert your API key and then it would allow you to pull up your actual lists that you've already pre-built in your email CRM. So for ours is Klaviyo. We've got a pop-up list here already set, and we're just going to create those settings. We're going to leave off the double opt-in. Double opt-in is great for kind of verifying that everyone on your list wants to be on your list, but in this case they gave us their name, they gave us their email, and we're trying to get them their coupon code as quickly as possible, and the double opt-in would definitely slow that down and reduce your numbers. So I'm gonna recommend that you leave the double opt-in off in this case. So there we go, our integration is all set and ready to go. So step 7, the analytics integration. So you're going to click on the analytics section. On that menu, you're going to add a new account. OptinMonster will have like a button to generate an authentication code. You're going to click that, connect it to your Google account for your analytics, and it's going to generate an API key or kind of an authorization code for you. You're going to copy and paste that into the token field in OptinMonster, and then you're going to give it a name, and it'll all be set up for you there. The reason you want to do this is because when you get heavy into your analytics and you start to really analyze these things, it's going to give you more information and insight into the behavior of your traffic and your visitors, which is going to help you better prepare or put yourself in a position to convert better and just understand what they're doing and how you can maneuver or take advantage of that to drive home your point of pushing more sales or effectively communicating and marketing to your customer base. Okay, so now we're going to set up the analytics. It is fairly straightforward to connect this to your Google Analytics. So what you're going to do is click here, generate code. It's actually going to take you over and ask you to log into your Google Analytics, and then it's going to generate a code for you. So I'm not actually going to do that because I've already set all of this up. Once you log into your analytics, it will give you a set of steps, and you just follow that, and it'll give you a code, and you insert the code here, and then you create a label, and then you authenticate, so it'll just verify everything's connected. But because we have already done this, we're just gonna select the ones that we've already set up, and then you're going to click your website profile. Now, I do this for multiple businesses, so I've got a few different profiles, but you will most likely just have the one. So step 8, you're going to set up your display rules. This is basically when and where your pop-up is going to show up. So you're basically going to tell the system, I want it on this page, I don't want it on this page, I want it to show up after this, I don't want it to show up if this happens, that kind of a thing. I would say try and keep it simple. Don't go crazy with, multi-layered, all that kind of stuff. Try and keep it as simple and straightforward as possible so that the user experience for the end customer is always maintained. You always want to kind of protect that user experience because that is like the biggest determining factor on whether or not someone does business with you. If everything they interact with you to do is difficult, it's going to hurt your chances of converting. So one of the last things that I'm going to have you do is your display rules. As you can see, there are lots of options after scrolling a certain amount down, on click, on inactivity. So we're going to do this by time. So it's pretty much already set up for us, and what we're going to have to change is the actual amount of time. So time on page is at least, and then I'm going to show you guys how to find this number in 1 second. So we're going to go down to the second option. It says who should see this campaign, and again we have lots of options. So visitors by specific pages, by number of pages, by device, has interacted with campaign, new versus returning. There's lots of options. You can go through them yourself if you'd like, but we're just going to keep it simple, and we're going to go by visitors who viewed a specific page. So we're going to add a condition. So any page here means literally any page on the site it will show up for. So we are going to add here, when the URL does not contain cart, we want this to show. So you can exclude pages by using these options. You can include pages. As you can see, there is matches, does not end with, ends with, does not start with, starts with, does not contain, contains, and so on. So we're going to use does not contain the word cart. So any page that contains the word cart, our pop-up is not going to show up on. Otherwise, it's going to show up on any other page. So if you have a specific way that you want this to work, maybe you're creating a pop-up just for your add to cart page, then you would this option would actually say contains and then cart, and you would probably eliminate the any page option if you only wanted it to show on that one. Now, if you actually wanted to exclude the pop-up from showing up on certain pages, because maybe you have more than one pop-up running, you would add does not contain. So whatever your website URL is, after .com, when it has a slash, whatever comes after that is what that interlinked page's name is. So in this case, it would have been our website domain .com/cart. So anything that has slash and then contains cart after that slash, our pop-up is not going to show up on. So let's say there's more pages. We'll add another one just so I can show you guys this. So let's say you have a bestsellers page and you don't want the pop-up to show up on bestsellers. As long as the URL is whatever your domain is, .com/ and then bestsellers, adding this filter would mean that this pop-up will not show up on your bestsellers page. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that, and we're going to go back up, and I'm going to show you guys how you decide when to have the pop-up actually show up. So step 9, setting up the right time. So we talked about setting up your Google Analytics. I'm actually going to get you to go into your Google Analytics and create a custom report that's going to show you the most accurate time for how to set your display rules if you're going to use the option of the pop-up coming up at a certain time. I would recommend it for this tactic of specifically what we're talking about, which is basically, again, if your average bounce happens around 1 minute, you're going to want to have your pop-up come up a little bit before that, and in order to figure out what your bounce time is, you're going to need to create this custom report through your Google Analytics to just give you accurate information and you're not just wildly guessing. And then let's say you want to run a specific campaign for, let's say, your top sellers or something like that, then you're going to want the bounce timing on those specific pages, and your report will be able to give you that. In order to get this value to figure out when we should set this timer for, we're actually going to go into our Google Analytics and create a custom report. So you're going to go to customization, custom reports, go to new custom report. You're going to give your report a title, and then you're going to add metric groups. So we're going to start with page views. Average time on page, percent exit, and bounce rate. Then you're going to add your dimension drill down. So we're going to start with exit page. Device category and user type. Okay, so then we're going to add our filters. Device category and mobile. And we're going to add one more filter for user type and new visitor. Okay. So once you've created this custom report, you're just going to save it. Now I already have one of these, so I'm actually going to get rid of this. Okay, and we're going to scroll down here, and as you can see here, this is the information we're looking for. So over here you'll see the pages, and then you'll get a summary here. So page views, average time on page, exit, and then bounce rate. So I'm going to get you to take this number, which is the average of all the times listed below, and I'm going to get you to subtract 10% from it. So a minute and 4 seconds is actually 64 seconds. So 10%, we're going to just call that 6 seconds. So we'll go back over here to our opt-in form, and we're going to take 6 seconds off of 604, which would actually be 58 seconds, but I'm going to go down to 55 seconds just to be safe. I like to hit it a little bit early and try and catch them before they get that initial thought to start exiting. So now that we set when the campaign should appear, we've set who should see the campaign. So we're going to go back to setup and just review all of our information, make sure we're happy with everything. It's where we want it to be. All of our integrations are set up. Okay, so step 10, the next thing to do is paste the opt-in monster script into your store theme. So copy the selected script. After you go up to the top there around where it says save, you can click on where it's kind of says, like, I think it says publish. I'm gonna get or paused and active. I'm gonna get you to click that. So if you scroll down to the bottom, it's going to have the code that you need to embed into your theme on the back end of your Shopify store. So I'm going to get you to copy that and then go into the back end of your store and paste it. I'll show you where to paste it in the liquid theme section. And then once you save that, it basically tells Opt-in Monster that everything is connected. And when you hit live on your Opt-in Monster account, these pop-ups will start showing up on your website. Okay, so then we're going to hit save, and you'll notice here where it says publish pause, so this campaign is not active yet. We're going to go here. You can turn the campaign live by clicking this pause button. I'm actually going to unclick that though. And then you're going to come down here to get your embed code. Okay guys, so now that you've got your code copied in there, what I want you to do is go over to your Shopify store, and down your left menu here you're going to see online store. I want you to click that. Now you're going to select themes and click that, and then you're going to come over here to the right side to your actions drop down, and then you're going to hit edit code. Okay, so now that you're in your code section, under layout here at the top, you're going to hit theme liquid or theme.liquid, and you're going to see here it's going to open up a window with all of the coding that makes up your website. And you're going to go right here to right above the body tag, and you're going to copy in your code from Opt-in Monster for your campaigns. So what this does is going to make Opt-in Monster and your Shopify store talk to each other and pass information. That's going to handle all your tracking and stuff like that as well. Now, once you paste your code in here, what I'm going to get you to do is go over here and hit save, and that's going to make everything firm and just basically save everything we just did. And then once you make that campaign live on your Opt-in Monster account, it is going to start immediately running that campaign on the mobile version of your website. And you can take out your phone and, take a look at it, make sure that it's clear, concise. If someone wants to exit it, that's fairly simple and straightforward. You don't want to hurt your user experience by making it difficult for people to get away from your promotions if they're not interested. You're going to want to make sure that your timers are firing at the right settings that you set them to, and just kind of double check, make sure everything is okay. And from there, you're good to go. Okay, so now that we pasted our code into our theme, we verified that all of our settings are set up correctly. We're going to hit status and send this live, and now we have a pop-up campaign that is going to engage your visitors right before they would typically leave your website and end up not doing business with you. So we're going to offer them an incentive that if they give us their name and email, they're going to get a discount. Once they receive this incentive and they actually give you their name and email, the majority of them are going to then come back to the store and do business with you, or at the very least you have their contact information. And now you're going to start working on the lifetime value of that visitor, trying to convert them into a customer over the next days, weeks, months, years, as long as they're opted into your email list. I really hope that this was helpful for you guys. This tactic has been amazing in my business and for the customers that we've actually initiated this for. So that's it. We're all set to go. Usually at this point, I would go back over everything, make sure the image has been uploaded the way you want it to, whatever other options. I just kind of like to go over things and make sure I didn't, miss anything or anything like that. So I would say go once over it, and then save it. And then if you're ready, you can hit live if you already posted your code into the website, and you're good to go, and you can start converting these leads. And you can get as creative as you want to about what the incentive is or when your triggers activate. This tactic has helped so many of our clients actually build their list. This is a tactic that's going to help you not only work the list and get extra conversions, but it's also going to help you build the list, because remember, these are people who are about to leave your website, which is huge. So we're adding people to your actual email list that they're going to help you guys generate more sales, and then we're actually going to, during that process, convert some of them right away into buying customers who were just about to leave and ditch you guys. So just some tips for you before we part ways. So it's really important that you guys exclude your cart page. So if you have a pop-up and then it also comes up on the cart page, that's not the page you want necessarily it to come up unless you have something specific set up for that page. Because if you're in the cart page, you're most likely about to buy anyway. So if now I incentivize you to offer you a discount or whatever the situation is, I'm most likely cutting into my profit margins. So you might want to consider that. I want you to remember to save your changes every time you do something, or just to make sure that all the work that you're doing is saved and stays up to date and you don't lose anything in any part of the process. So I recommend that you set up a specific pop-up for your top traffic pages. So let's say your top 5 products. Maybe you want to create a campaign for each of them where it's something different on those specific pages as opposed to like just the home page or something like that. So if it's Valentine's Day and you are running a promotion, I want you to consider changing your site-wide pop-up to match what you're running, or remind people that you have a Valentine's Day promotion going on, because it's going to help you drive whatever the focus is or the promotion or whatever you are pushing. Changing your pop-up to match that is going to help you drive home that point and help you convert better on whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So I would recommend that as you run promotions and different things change about your business and what you're promoting or focusing on, change your pop-up to match that, because it'll help you push that agenda. And the last thing is, don't forget to test it. Make sure it's easy for people to get rid of if they're not interested. Make sure it's firing at the right times, and just kind of test it to make sure that you're not hurting your user experience.
Hey guys, Kevin here. I want to say thank you for taking the time to go through our step-by-step training. I really hope that there was some value there for you guys. Now I want you to feel free to go ahead and take everything that we just showed you and put together your own campaign, start generating some additional leads and sales for your business. Or you could hit the schedule button below, get on the phone with us, and we can start mapping out something similar for your business. Now we can't promise you the exact same results, but we're going to take the exact same principles and put something together that represents your brand. Now for those of you who are really looking to move the needle and take things to a whole new level this upcoming year, it may take more than 1 or 2 creative techniques or tactics to really get you there. Now if you're interested in taking things to a whole new level, hit that schedule button, schedule a call with us so we can ask you some questions about your business and see if we're a good fit to execute for you guys and help you engage and generate those relationships that are going to turn into additional sales month after month for your business. Guys, this has been Kevin from Majesty Marketing Solutions, and I'll see you on the other side. Have a blessed day.